Okay, so this is over chapter 25 and 26. Basically, we finished chapter 25, but we have not talked about chapter 26 yet. But chapter 26 mostly just informations. Okay, not many kind of structure that you have to learn in chapter 26. We're gonna kind of discuss this one also during the review today. Okay, chapter 26. George. Okay, now you're welcome. For chapter 25, the urinary system. We have so many lecture already. Okay, I hope you know, especially the structure. Know the structure first. Okay? The organs that make up this urinary system. Okay, what is the organs for the urinary system? Kidney. How many kidney? Two. Kidney, kidney, kidney. So KK, only two kidney. All right. And then from the kidney, what is the second organ? Ureters. Ureters. Right? And again, in the ureters, urine or the pee is already final. No more activity in the ureters. It's just kind of take the urine, the final urine, flowing into the next organ. What is that? Urinary bladder. Alright, so urinary bladder. It will store for a while, okay, and then it will release through the next organ. What is that? Urethra. And finally out from the urethra to the opening is called the urethral orifice. Okay, so if you know this one, you will be very happy. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. Okay, make sure you know these organs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 organs in this case. For the labs, again, you have to know the locations for the final exam on the lab, but it's not in this lecture exam. Okay, the lecture exam, you just have to know these organs. Now, from this organ, from these 5 organs, which organ is actually that really filter the blood? From this organ, which one is actually the one that really filter the blood? The kidney. So kidney is the main organ. Kidney. This is the main organ for urine formation, for the blood filtration. That's it. Okay? The rest is just kind of track. Right? So in the kidney, now this is the one that you have to know. In the kidney, there is a structure. This is what we call the functional structure of the urinary system. The structure that really filter the blood. What do you call that unit? You have to know it. If you know it, you're happy. If not, you're not happy. Jared, what is the name of the unit in the kidney that filter the blood? Anybody? Nephron. That's the name of unit. Again, I'm gonna put in capital letter. Nephron. That's the name of the unit. Now, how many nephrons that we have? That's another question. Olivia, how many nephrons we have? 2 million for both kidney. So about 1 million per each. Okay, 1 million nephron per kidney. Okay, now over here on the nephron, make sure you know part of nephron. Again, if you know it, you're happy. If not, you're not happy. All right? What is the 2 main part of nephron? Okay, 2 main part of nephron. nephron part. Okay. First part is this one over here. Okay. What is the first part called? Anyone? Anybody? What is the first part called? Renal corpuscle. Okay, renal corpuscle. Again, make sure you know it. If not, you will be sad during the exam. Carter. Okay, renal corpuscle. That's the first part. Okay, renal corpuscle. Okay, what is the second part? It is from here until here. From this to this. All is actually tube. Therefore, it's called a renal tubule. It's not that difficult, right? So you have renal corpuscle. Maybe that's a little bit difficult to memorize, but this one is tube, so the name's going to be renal tubule. Get it? Now over here, the renal corpuscle, it has two components. This is the first component over here, A, which is the place for filtration. This is called the glomerulus. What? And the second one is this one, the one that have pore, look like a cup. What? Therefore, it's called the glomerular capsule. It looks like a capsule or cup. Right? That's the second part. Now, remember again, this is the place for filtration, the renal corpuscle. Remember this. It will filter the blood based on what? I put a capital letter last time. Based on size. Based on size of molecules. Small molecule will be filtered through this. Big molecule will stay in the blood. They cannot go through the pores in this capsule. Okay? So based on the size, that's it. The size of molecules. Okay. Now, the renal tubule divided into three parts. A, over here, which is the one that close to the renal corpuscle. Therefore, it's called the proximal. Okay, proximal convoluted tubule or PCT. And the second one is the one that make a loop. Therefore, it's called the loop. Loop of Henle. Okay. And then the last one is the last tube over here. That's away from the corpuscle. Therefore, it's called distal. Right? So C over here is distal convoluted tubule. Okay. That's it. And then the process. 3 steps of the process, right? The first one is GF, glomerular filtration. It is in the renal corpuscle. The second one is called the tubular reabsorption. This is mostly in the PCT. Okay, now over here, make sure you know the percentage of molecules that will be reabsorbed. It is in your assignment, right? Look at page 2 on your assignment. Okay, number 12. Okay, make sure, try to memorize some of the number over there. Glucose, protein, for example, amino acid, they all has to be 100% reabsorbed. Therefore, you don't have glucose in the urine. It should be negative. Yesterday you measure your urine, right? If you have glucose, if you have protein, you have problem. Why you have negative? Because they are 100% reabsorbed in the PCT. So PCT is the main place for reabsorption. So this is in PCT, glomerular filtration. This is in renal corpuscle. That's the place for filtration. And then the last steps gonna be tubular secretions. Okay, this is mostly happening a long way of all the tubule, starting from PCT, loop, DCT. So that secretion is gonna be. They try to move as many as ways possible to the urine from the blood. Okay, if you know this one, you are really happy. A lot of questions regarding to this structure and also the process, the name of the process, where it is located. Okay, so make sure you study again that nephron structure and the 3 steps of urination or urine formation. Okay, next thing, okay, is the disorder. Okay, try to also memorize the name of disorder over there. Like for example, kidney stone is called the renal calculi. I had this one before, it's a long time ago, but I still remember it because it's really, really painful in the back, really painful. You cannot sleep, you cannot sit, you cannot walk, you cannot stand up. Very, very painful. Hey, don't get it. Try to avoid the kidney stone. Right. Urethritis, the name is telling you it is an inflammation of urethra. This is how actually infection is happening. Okay, like say maybe bacteria or virus. They actually mostly coming from the outside. What? And outside body, in this case for the urinary system, is what? Urethra. Urethra is the most outside part of our body or tract. Therefore, more infection will be start from this area, the urethra. Okay, and that infection is called the urethritis. Now, this is maybe just some suggestions, especially for female. Okay, when you clean up yourself after poop or pee, for example, try to avoid going from the back to the front. This is something that maybe what you call the technique that you have to know in order to avoid the infection. Why? Because if you move from the back to the front, you might take some bacteria that coming from the poop to the female organ, to your organ. Right? So try to from to the back. That's the kind of technique. The same thing with the male. Clean it, wash it, rinse it. Otherwise, it might stay some bacteria over here. If you have that infection, then it's called the urethritis. That start from here. Right? And then the infection can go up. Right? Is swimming up to the next organ. What is that? Bladder. Bladder. Now, what you call that bladder infection? It's called the cystitis. That's the name of bladder infection. Are you with me? What? No. Here, infection is going up. It can go up to the ureters. Okay. And then from the ureter, then it can reach the kidney. When it is reaching the kidney, that's gonna be a big problem because it can break the nephron. Okay, so in the kidney, it's called the pyelonephritis. Okay, And then if it is renal valve infection, it's called the pyelitis. And it is glomerulus infection, which is really bad over here, especially if it is like bacteria like the Staphylococcus aureus. It can damage the glomerulus. Okay, it's called the glomerulonephritis. Right? That's the name of the disease. Now, there is another disease called the PKD. What is PKD? Polycystic kidney disease. This is actually inheritance disease. And this is dominant. This is a autosomal dominant disease. What does that mean? Dominant is mean that if one of your parents have it, you might have it maybe 50%, up to 50%, or above 50%, you will get it. If both of your parents have PKD, 100% you will get PKD. Get it? That's dominant autosomal disease. Okay? And this disease is actually not noticeable until the individual reach about maybe 35 years old. Then usually they will start have problem with their kidney. Why? Cystis. This is cyst. What is cyst? The cyst is developed within year. When we are still young, there may be very few cysts. And then after maybe 35 years old or 30 years old, it's become so many cysts in the kidney. And then that individual start to have problem with their kidney. Most of the time, the PKD need kidney transplantation because it cannot be recovered. Okay, so that's example of inherited disease in urinary system. Okay, do you have a question for this one? That's chapter 25. If you get this one, you get maybe 60-70% of your exam there. Okay, now, next one is chapter 26, which is about fluid and electrolyte and also acid-base balance. So over here is actually just kind of information that water in our system, in our body is actually interdependent. It means that the whole water is connected. The whole water in your body is connected. Whether inside your cell is called the intracellular fluid, or outside the cell, ECF, extracellular fluid, they're all connected. You need to have water here, you need to have water in the ICF. Otherwise, if you don't get water in your body, you will have dehydration. Therefore, it is very important that we have to understand what we call the water intake and water output. This one has to be balanced. This water has to be balanced. Just for information, in our body, we have about 40 to 45 liters water in normal body. It has to be regulated. It has to be regulated. Now, water intake. So we actually normally must take water every day about liter, 2.5 milliliter water. Okay, so this is milliliter. This is equal to 2.5 liter water per day. Okay, and then we also need to remove that water. That's when the kidney do the job. Also, the water output is 0.5 liter per day. Now, where is the water intake mostly coming from? The first one, of course, drink. From drink. So we drink at least about maybe 1.8 to 2 liter per day. That's a normal drinking. If you are not doing exercise, for example, you maybe need this one. If you do exercise, you maybe need more because you will be sweating, right? And also, if you're not doing exercise, it is not recommended to drink energy water. What is energy water? Like Gatorade, Powerade, or whatever, right? Don't drink it every day if you don't really active. If you are active, yeah, maybe you need replacement. So that's drink. Other is coming from food that we eat. Okay, the food that we eat also contain water. So in average, about 2.5 liter water intake. Now the same thing, the water output, it must be around that number too. What is the main output from our body? That one over there, the one that's done by urinary system, which is urinations. Urinations, normally it has to be around 1.8 to 2 liter per day, which is actually balance of our drinking. The more you drink, the more urinations gonna be. Other is coming from sweat, breathing, for example. That also will release water from our body. So that's normal water intake and water output for normal healthy persons. Now, acid balance. Okay, so acid or acidity in our body, especially in the blood, it has to be controlled. So blood pH must be around 7.35 to 7.45, which is a really, really small limit actually. We cannot be lower than this. We cannot be higher than this. If we have lower than this, lower than 7.35, we have condition is called a lower than 7.35 pH in the blood. We have an abnormality or condition is called, anybody know what is the name? If there's a lower number, it's become acid, right? That condition is called the acidosis, which is your blood is very acidic. Okay, if we have higher than this, okay, higher than 7.5, if your blood pH is higher than that, then we have another bad condition. It's called the alkalosis. Now, in your assignment, I put some symptom, okay, or condition when we have acidosis or alkalosis. That's going to be number 17 and number 18. Okay, like fatigue, seizure, vomit. There are some symptoms or conditions when people have whether acidosis or alkalosis, which is bad. Now, how we control that? How we control this? So our body will keep in the normal pH over here. Now, to control that, in our body, we have what we call buffer system. Okay, so we have buffer. We have buffer in our body. That buffer or control the pH in the blood around this number. There are 4 buffer system. There are 4 buffer system in our body. The first one is the main buffer system. It's called the bicarbonate buffer system. Okay, this is actually related to carbon dioxide that is produced from cellular respiration. If you still remember, most of the carbon dioxide is actually carried in the blood in the form of this ions, okay, which is the carbonate ions. Okay, so these ions over here, the carbonate ion, is actually really help us to catch the extra acid. Most of us actually drink too much acid. So like in the morning, people like to take what? Coffee. Coffee is acidic. In the afternoon, they take Coke. Mountain Dew, Dew. They're all acidic. At night, they drink coffee, another acidic. What happened in your blood? There will be a lot of acid. What is acid? Acid is actually this concentration of hydrogen ions. Okay. Now, if you take a lot of acid during the day, okay, this one is actually really help us to remove that. So by adding to acid, okay, this actually will remove the acid and convert it into this, okay, which is the weak carbonic acid. This is a weak acid. So this one is strong acid. Okay, so make it into the weaker acid. This is the first bicarbonate system. It might be sometime accidentally you drink the bathroom cleaner. Okay, that's actually very alkaline. Right? So when you have this in your body, alkalines in your body, right? The second buffer system, this is the first one. Right? I'm gonna put this. Okay. So this is the component of bicarbonate buffer system, which is this ion, and of course that one over there, because they can actually reverse back and forth, okay, in order to control your acid in the blood. So this one over here is actually the one that will take extra alkaline or base that maybe enter into your body. What it's gonna be? It's gonna be making this plus water. Okay, so that's the main buffer system that we have, which is carbonic or bicarbonate buffer system that consists of 2 components, carbonate ion and the carbonic acid over here. Okay, therefore I put blank and blank, right, on that assignment. Okay, so that's the first system. The second system, okay, the second system is a phosphate buffer system. Okay, this is also consists of 2 components. The first component is the ion, also phosphate ions. Okay, and this one is the one that take extra acid. This is gonna be reduce the acidity. The second component is the okay, this is the one that take extra hydroxide ions. Okay. The third component is the proteins. Okay. And many proteins is actually have amino acids that have this functional unit that can take a lot of acids in our system. So this negative over here can combine with the positive for the acid. And the last one is actually hemoglobin. Hemoglobin can carry extra acid and then replace it with the carbon dioxide. Okay, this is kind of a buffer system in our body that control our blood pH around this 735 to 745. Okay, so therefore, most of the time, we, if you are healthy, don't have the acidosis or alkalosis because of this very good buffer system that we have in our body. Okay. What else? I think that's all. Okay? I think that's all for this exam.